we're live. Great, it looks like we're live on both of the YouTube channels. Let me just double check that everything is working just okay. There we are. Great, it looks like we're live on both. On both channels, yes. So you can just choose one. Yeah, there we are. Oh, whoops. This is incorrect. I made the wrong date. I made the wrong date, but that's fine. Yep, I'm live on YouTube right now. So we'll go ahead and get started. If you need to get the link, it's in my AniLive profile. We are on both channels right now. I'm testing a few things to make sure everything works out okay before I stream on my official channel. So my official channel, my main channel, which is youtube.com/Poette, or /@Poette, I should say, is going to be related to mental health, wellness, and techniques to help you with your interpersonal relationships. And actually, I should probably move this over. Well, actually, no, this is kind of difficult. I didn't think this through. But that's nothing new. But yeah, so today, as you guys can see on YouTube, we're going to go over WISEMIND, the middle ground. Let me see. I'll go ahead and read to you the WISEMIND technique from Resource Group. Has anyone ever heard of WISEMIND or applied WISEMIND in their life before? If you've never used WISEMIND before, or you probably have been in WISEMIND without realizing you were in WISEMIND, but it is a core aspect of something called DBT, which is dialectical behavioral therapy. And WISEMIND, is based on the concept of 3 states of mind: emotion mind, reasonable mind, and wise mind. The wise mind is the optimal state where rational thinking and emotions can come together. It allows the individuals to make sound decisions that align with their values and goals. So that sounds really important, right? Oh, hi, Luna Lightshine. Welcome to the stream. It's so good to see you. Glad to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Welcome, welcome. Yes, you're here with us today. That is great. Fantastic. I'm thrilled and honored that you'd join us. So the WISEMIND technique is used to help individuals access and strengthen their wise mind, particularly during times of emotional distress or impulsive behavior. So you might know someone who is in an emotional distress situation often or at times, or you know someone who's impulsive or is very emotionally triggered easily. So learning about WISEMIND would really help with those types of individuals who are very impulsive or experience emotional distress. Yeah? The WISEMIND technique involves mindfulness exercises such as observing. So you want to observe. You want to describe the experience that you're feeling internally. You also want to describe what's happening externally. And you want to be fully present in the moment as much as possible, which means you're not having flashbacks, you're not reminiscing or comparing the past to the present. You're just in the moment and you're thinking about now, what is happening in the moment, what you're feeling in the moment, focusing on your breath, your current breath, breathing in, breathing out, right? These are just little tips and tricks to help you regulate your emotion, regulate yourself in a really stressful situation, whether that's a school test, a job interview, you're having an argument with your family member, partner, friend, you're having some emotional distress regarding how you're feeling about a certain topic or a certain thing that's happened or an experience, right? So this technique, WISEMIND, can help you in many areas of your life. As long as you bring awareness, it's all about awareness, self-awareness, the awareness of your internal landscape, and then awareness of what's happening in front of you and being able to respond in such a way that is aligned with what you value and believe in. So it's not just impulsively doing something because you felt you were trapped or had no other option, but that you did create an option for yourself, right? And that's WISEMIND, is creating options, creating possibilities where you originally didn't see any. And you do that with clarity, you do that with balance, you do that with authenticity and compassion, right? So that's why it's really good to focus on and know about WISEMIND. So let's understand WISEMIND a little bit more. The characteristics and qualities of WISEMIND include clarity, intuition, balance, as I mentioned before, authenticity and compassion, right? So clarity is the ability to see situations clearly and objectively without being overwhelmed by strong emotions. Strong emotions can be fear, strong emotions can be anger, it can be sadness, right? So if you know anyone who experiences depression, having a bit more clarity and objective viewing on a situation might help clarify a person's perspective on life or in general. Right, that's a really good reflection, Ufer. That's a really good insight to have with yourself, and maybe that's something that we can explore after the presentation. So, moving forward with my presentation on WISEMIND and mindfulness, we talked about clarity being the ability to objectively see situations for what they are without being overwhelmed by strong emotions, just recognizing when you are feeling overwhelmed, acknowledging it and not fighting it, just accepting it as it is, taking deep breaths to ground yourself, right? So what about intuition, right? Part of, or some of the qualities of WISEMIND is the intuitive or intuition part. As for the question, am I a doctor? Absolutely not. I am not a doctor. No. I am just a person. I am a peer support advocate, mental health advocate. I'm an interdimensional bookstore owner and librarian with Nexus. It's a VTuber talent agency. Their website is nexus.live. You can check it out there. But yeah, I'm just a normal, regular person who knows a little bit about mindfulness and wants to share it with others in the world, or anyone who's open-minded, has the patience, has the affinity, or the, what's the word? Compatibility to learn this with me and to go through this topic with me. So yeah, no, I'm not a doctor, but I do like to explain things as best as I can and as thoroughly as I can. I am looking at a website. It's called resourcegrp.org, and I am reading off of that article that I can also link in the video description after the stream, so that you guys can read it if you're more of a visual learner like me. Okay, so back to the topic of intuition. Intuition, as defined by this article, is a deep understanding and insight that comes from within. It guides individuals towards wise and appropriate actions. So that's what intuition is. It's a deep understanding or insight that comes from within, somewhere in your brain, somewhere in your heart, right? Somewhere in your gut, somewhere within your mind. You just know the truth. You just know what's right. And that is your intuition. So accessing and practicing WISEMIND will strengthen your intuition. Okay. Can you guys still hear me okay? Was it mute for a minute? Okay, so we'll move on. And okay, sounds good. Thank you so much for the feedback, Uther. Greatly appreciate you. The next, I think YouTube should be fine. I think YouTube is fine. It looks okay so far. The next topic or characteristic and quality of WISEMIND is balance. Balance in WISEMIND incorporates both emotional and rational aspects. Easier said than done, right? It can be very difficult because if you're overly emotional, you won't be, it's harder to rationalize, or you can be both really emotional and really rational at the same time, but the point is to be balanced, not heightened. You don't want to be overstimulated. You want to kind of calm down from the emotions and let it balance out. Right, so finding the middle ground between impulsive reactions, right, really energically charged reactions, and detached analysis, right? So you wanna be somewhere in between being very impulsive and analytical. That's the, how do you say, textbook definition of balance. But we all know what balance feels like. Balance feels pretty neutral. Balance feels really stable, feels really grounded, and feels real. It feels authentic. And that's the next point. That's the next topic in my presentation today with everybody. The next topic is authenticity as a characteristic and quality of WISEMIND. And yes, welcome everyone who's tuning in. Really glad to see you guys. We're going over the topic of WISEMIND today. And we're also on YouTube, so you can catch the VOD there. But yes, so authenticity encourages individuals to act in alignment with their authentic selves and values rather than being swayed by external influences. That makes sense, right? So my YouTube for you guys, there's two. There's youtube.com/@Poette or @Poette Live, Live. You can go to my AniLive profile and check out the two links to my YouTube. I should be streaming on both right now, so you can just pick and choose and watch the stream from there as well. There's going to be a little bit more. I'm just going over the characteristics and qualities of WISEMIND right now. So authenticity is one of them, and the last one is compassion. WISEMIND is supposed to foster empathy and compassion towards yourself and others, right? So you're promoting the understanding and acceptance of what is, what the situation is, how you're currently feeling. It's all about just accepting it and understanding it as it is. It's not trying to change it necessarily. It's first accepting that, okay, I'm feeling threatened, but I'm not in danger. I'm going to choose my words carefully so that I can feel more understood by the other person. Maybe that means I need to take a 5-minute, disengagement from the interaction. Maybe that means I need to get some water to cool down. Maybe I need to move it to the DMs if it's online. Whatever it is. But hi, welcome everybody. I see you guys on YouTube. So glad to see you guys. The VOD will be available for you guys from start to finish, where I'm talking about WISEMIND, and it's a dialectical behavioral therapy concept that refers to the optimal state of mind where rational thinking and emotions can come together. So I've just went over the characteristics and qualities of WISEMIND. Just very quickly, it was clarity, intuition, balance, authenticity, and compassion, right? So by cultivating wise mind, individuals can navigate challenges and make decisions that lead to better outcomes, personal growth, and well-being. Ideally, that's the ideal hope for cultivating and practicing wise mind, mindfulness. And you can do that through activities such as breathing techniques, meditation, different types and forms of meditation can help strengthen your mindfulness and your patience with yourself, right? All right, so there's also the integration of reasonable mind and emotional mind, which I think is really important. I do want to read this part and these bits, this entire article to you, but at the same time I also want to go over the diagram that's on the YouTube presentation. So this is from Therapist Aid, therapistaid.com. It's a worksheet about wise mind because that is today's topic. But yes, welcome everyone. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for tuning into my stream about wise mind. And essentially, like I've been saying over and over and over again, wise mind is understanding the three states of mind, right? You have the emotional mind, where your emotional intelligence lives, and then there's the reasonable mind, which is where your logic, rationale, is from, where it comes from, right? You can think of it as like your left and right side of your brain. Sometimes people gravitate towards one or the other during times of stress or crisis, right? A person might shut down their emotional intelligence to be extremely cold, calculating, and reasonable, right? But that's not necessarily helpful when there's a person crying and really needing your empathy, right? And so you want to try to be in the middle, balance that out. So let's go ahead and read this diagram, right? Seeing that wise mind is the integration of wise mind is integration of reasonable mind and emotion mind. And so we know the emotion mind is what is used for feelings, thoughts and behaviors that are related to emotional needs, right? So if we're angry, we want to smash something. If we're sad, we want to cry, or we feel down or feel mopey, kind of gloomy, right? So this controls and dictates our behaviors and even our thoughts. So by recognizing that, bringing awareness to like, oh, maybe I'm not my emotion, right? Maybe recognizing that I am just feeling this way because of X, Y, and Z, it can be very helpful. So an individual might want to act impulsively with little regard for consequences because they're stuck in their emotional mind, right? There's no short-term, long-term thinking. There's just right now I feel this way and I want to do this, and it's very impulsive, right? So a person who uses their reasonable mind might approach a situation intellectually, right? You might even hear or see people over-intellectualize things. If they shut down their emotional mind, they will over-intellectualize a situation, and they will kind of be very stone cold. They won't be very personable. They won't be very empathetic or sympathetic in any fashion. But they're kind of always right? They're technically not wrong, but they're lacking in the empathy department. If they're like super reasonable minded, even if they're like 100% correct, right? So they know how to make plans, make decisions based on facts. They know how to get things done. So that's the good thing about having a reasonable mind, is that you plan things out. You know how to get to like a solution, right? You're solution minded, which is sometimes very helpful. That's why you want to have a reasonable mind, but you also want to include the empathy that comes from emotional mind, and your emotional wisdom and your intuition and authenticity and values come from your emotions as well, right? So we want to integrate these two. All right, so on to the presentation on wise mind. So this is an activity, and you guys are welcome to participate in this activity, which says you can describe an experience you've had, with each of these 3 states of mind. So with the reasonable mind, with the emotional mind, and maybe instances where you recognize or can recall where you were in a state of wise mind, where you were in a state of balance and you made the right decision and you knew that you were rational and you honored your feelings at the same time. That is wise mind. And then maybe there are times where you're only emotional, or maybe there was a time where you were right, but you weren't very empathetic towards the other person. You weren't very sympathetic to their emotional needs, right? So this is an activity you guys can check out. Again, this is provided by Therapist Aid. You can go to therapistaid.com to check out more of their stuff, look into what they have to offer. Yeah, so there are some other slides that I have, right? So this is, again, another bit that I'll just leave here for you guys. Yeah, so moving forward with our presentation, I've pretty much covered Wise Mind. There's the activities that you can do as well. I want to welcome everyone who's tuning in right now to our presentation. We're also on YouTube. You can also check out the entire VOD from beginning to end about my presentation on Wise Mind. Yeah, hopefully it gives you a sense of what it is. And I went over Wise Mind from Therapist Aid. There is also this really nice it's like a PDF of 10 pages, and I have it right here, and it's really, really nice. It's really colorful and really positive, and I really like it. I really appreciate this this resource, so I'll again also include it in the video description below after this whole stream is done and I get like 15-20 minutes to catch my breath and then update the description box. So check back in maybe 24 hours and it should be all updated, right? Oh yes, this one this DBT tools, this Wise Mind skill was originally what I wanted to go over with you guys, but I thought it was a little too bland, so I wanted to start off with the tool from Therapist Aid first. But yeah, just like you're gonna find it everywhere, right? Wise Mind is using a little bit of input from your emotional intelligence and some input from your reasonable, rational mind, right? It adds intuitive knowing, and it also gets things done. It focuses on the present experience and it does not judge. So that's what's really important about Wise Mind, is that you do stay out of judgment as much as possible. You don't judge the person for crying. You don't judge the person for being upset. You are fully present. You are stable, you are strong, you are balanced, you feel in control of your own thoughts. You may not be in control of the situation, but that's okay. The goal is not to be in control of the situation 100%. The goal is to adapt. The goal is to be flexible. The goal is to be able to solve, come to a conclusion or come to a resolution together with your emotional needs met, as well as your rationale intact, right? So you're not just blowing up for no reason. You're being mindful. You're monitoring yourself, right? So there's quite a bit of awareness that needs to be taken into account, right? So Wise Mind can see the value of both the reason and the emotion. Right? It brings the left and right brain together. We consider both the emotional needs as well as the logistical things. This is, again, I'm sounding like a broken record at this point. Yes, and that's another really good point, Ufer. And you can even do everything right and things still might not turn out the way you want to. Yeah, absolutely. And, But WiseMind is there to help you try to increase your chances of feeling satisfied with your best, right? WiseMind is just coming from a place of, oh, there's a burger. Okay. Oh, wow, 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 wow. There's a burger. You can't ignore the burger, guys. Burger is peak. Burger is important. Okay. So, this is a worksheet that, again, I will also send in the description. I'll put it in the description once I get like 15-20 minutes after the stream to decompress and post all the resources for you guys to look at, fact check, make sure I'm not just pulling this out of nowhere, but these are from what I deem as pretty reliable resources and sources. So I hope I can share this with people who otherwise would not get a chance to sit down and, you know, give themselves the time and space to go over this. And maybe if you want, you can go over this video again. And while you're going over this video, while I'm yapping, you can actually answer some of these questions yourself. You can fill it in. If you have a printer, if you can go to your library to get a printer, or access a printer, you can print this out. And for every situation that's really, really stressful, allow yourself the time to fill this out, to organize your thoughts, to sit down with yourself, because that's the hardest thing. And I must have chosen a very difficult field, which is, you know, mental health and mindfulness and wellness, is because you really have to examine yourself. You have to be aware of yourself, but not only that, you also have to have some sense of being able to read the room and understand other people, where they're coming from without getting triggered, right? That's where the mastery comes from. And it's very difficult, trust, it's very difficult. I struggle with it to this day, but again, that doesn't stop me from doing my best. And I hope I can inspire that to others, younger people, younger generation who might struggle with interpersonal relationships with different power dynamics, right? So yeah, instructions say during the week, right, as you are reflecting, as you are practicing your awareness building, when there's a situation that arises, and then you can practice or use the WiseMind skill, you can document. It's almost like journaling. So you can also do this in your journal. For those of you who have a journal, want to start a journal but don't know what to do or what to write, this is the start. This is your calling. This is your sign to get started this way. Or you can just write about how you're feeling. Like, oh, today I was feeling nervous about my exam. But you know, it didn't stop me from studying, but I just recognized that my heart was like really racing really fast. I also noticed my palms were really sweaty, right? This activity brings about awareness. This is like a muscle. You're strengthening your awareness. Oh, and I didn't realize that I found some tissue paper in my pocket, right? I was so nervous that I didn't even realize that I had put some tissue paper to blow my nose, right? You can journal literally about anything. It's yours to write anything, to just get it out of your system, to just talk about the things that are trivial or very important to you. And that's what journaling is all about. All right, so we'll move on to the situation number 1. So you're going to describe the situation as best as you can. You can try to notice any unpleasant emotions that you experienced, right? What unpleasant emotions did you have in the emotion mind? What did you experience that was unpleasant, right? Continuing with this presentation, what other thoughts occurred in your logic mind? Did you think, oh, I need to fix the car, I need to study for my exam? These are all like planning, like strategy. This is all very logical mind, logical oriented thinking. Oh, I need to fix this, I need to do that. These are all logic mind. Emotion mind is about feeling. Oh, I felt nervous, I felt queasy, I felt nauseous, I felt angry, I felt upset, I felt frustrated. These are all of your emotions, right? So you separate them in the beginning to just identify them, but then you're going to integrate. You're going to see like, oh, because I was feeling threatened, I said this and I didn't mean to, but I said it because I was feeling threatened. And then you kind of strengthen your awareness and you'll think, oh, maybe next time I won't do that instead, right? I'll say something else, or I won't say anything at all. So the last question is, how did WISEMIND bring both the emotion and logic mind together and add a little bit of intuitive knowing? So my example was, right, you were feeling threatened, that's your emotion, and you said something out of pocket, so that's still your emotion. But then you took a step back and you combined, okay, if I say this, that's not going to help with the short term or long term. So that's your logic mind working and being integrated with your emotion. And then intuitively, you know that I may be feeling threatened, but I know what's the right thing to do. And you can, make a better suggestion, maybe offer a different solution that is aligned with your value system, and just hope that the other person can receive it, right? So that's a little bit of intuitive knowing, is that aligning your values. Like, okay, so let's give like a concrete example. Your boss wants to reduce your pay. You feel threatened, and you say, well, if you want to reduce my pay, how about I just work less hours then, or something? Try to negotiate. Right? Try to make it a win-win situation for yourself, instead of like lashing out and saying, what? Why? Why are you doing this to me? Do you hate me? This is all emotional talking and an emotional narrative, by the way. So yeah, that was just like an example, not anything too crazy. All right, this is the second page of this DBT, Dialectical Behavioral Therapy Tools worksheet. Oops. See. There we go. All right. So you're going to describe another situation that's probably been bothering you, right? It might be work related, might be school related, might be interpersonal related with your friend, your family member, with your partner, your spouse, your roommates, whatever situation you find yourself in. This worksheet is available for you, and you can go through it again. There's also the third situation, and it's really just the same thing over and over again, applied to different contexts and situations. The wise mind, how I like to think about it, is a formula. I'm giving you a formula for you to input your situation to extract a little bit of wisdom and knowledge from. So once you plug in, right, the situation, and you describe the situation, you identify the unpleasant emotions that you experienced, you thought about what solutions were possible in your logic and reasonable mind, and then what did you kind of conclude, from this information that you have written down. You can conclude that, my boss doesn't align with my value system, my partner doesn't believe in me, whatever, it doesn't matter. My parents are toxic. It can be any realization, and I hope these aren't triggers for you. I'm just coming up with examples for just this situation or scenario that anyone can literally be experiencing at any given time, right? This is all part of the human experience, so we're not void. We're actually all very similar in the sense that we experience emotions. We have rationale that is similar to one another at different instances. But yes, to everyone who's tuning in, welcome to the stream. I'm going over WISEMIND, which is Dialectical Behavioral Therapy Technique and Skill. And we're just going over this resource here, which I will include in the video description sometime after the stream is over. I will update all the information because even the date is wrong. Apologize for that. It's November 11th when it should be a November 4th. But yes, welcome. Do we have any questions, concerns so far? Did this make sense? I hope this made sense. I know I'm just kind of going over this kind of straightforward and simply, and there were some things that I felt like I was repeating over and over again in different words, but It's making plenty of sense. It's easier said than done because just to share a little bit of my experience, and you guys are welcome to share your experience if you'd like. It's not trauma dumping because I'm inviting it, as long as it's not overtly traumatic and you can keep it kind of general and loose. That would be ideal. But, like there was an instance where someone was very upset, right? It's kind of like, think about like customer service, right? There's a person who's really upset and you have to not be swept away by their emotions, whether it's anger, frustration, and not take things personally. I think that's the most difficult thing about any customer service job, is that someone else's frustration is not a reflection of your value, like you as a person, right? Once you understand that fundamentally, once you have that wisdom and intuitive understanding that someone else is upset not because of you personally, and then you have the compassion to want to help them. That is what customer service is. That is what wanting to develop these skills is all about, is that you want to find a solution that resonates with authenticity, compassion, and all those other characteristics that I listed earlier about where is it? WISEMInd. Let's see, where was it? I think it was on the other page. So I'm just going to go ahead and review the characteristics and qualities of WISEMInd. So clarity, intuition, balance, authenticity, and compassion, right? So ultimately you're trying to find some solution that's geared towards a more win-win situation, but just like Ufer said, there are going to be situations where you try your best and the outcome is still terrible, and in which case you still have to accept the outcome as it is, without judgment, with just deep breaths, fully accepting. And another concept and topic about related to mental health is something called radical acceptance. And radical acceptance is very, very helpful for things that are beyond your control, right? You can say it's just, it's outside of your control now. You don't have to put any blame or point fingers or do any of that weird, like this is your fault or this is my fault. It's just, it is what it is. Radically accept that, and no judgments. Just take deep breaths, stay present, notice how you're feeling. Notice where you're feeling it. This is definitely a skill that is lacking in modern day time, which is very unfortunate. So really quick, yesterday I attended like this little seminar, right? I think it was pre-recorded. I attended like a pre-recorded little seminar thing, and one of the statistics, and I don't know how accurate it is, was that there's a growing demand for mindfulness coaches or mindfulness teachers after the pandemic, which I thought was really interesting. So basically everything that I'm going over, there's like a demand for it. There is a demand for understanding WISEMInd. There is a demand for meditation, mental health, mindfulness, awareness, self-awareness, and all that in our world, in our society, in our decision-making processes, right? Processes, however you want to go about pronouncing that, which I think is really fascinating. And, if you think about it, that's kind of true, right? If you have like a person who's not qualified, whether it's through his characteristics or his opinions, it's like very one-sided. You're not in the middle, you're not balanced, right? So, yeah. Also, another mental health topic or concept is projecting. When you're in a situation where someone is projecting onto you, you have to be careful to not take that personally. I'm going to go ahead and mute this person. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but okay, this person has been muted, so don't worry. Just have to clean that up a little bit. But yes, welcome everyone to the stream. I'm really glad to see you guys. I just went over my presentation on WISEMInd, and the VOD will be available on the main channel because it is related to mental health. And I'll do my best to add all the resources that I have that I've been going over and talking about so that you have access to it. Whether you use it or not is totally fine. Oh yeah, nothing about politics, guys. We don't do politics here, so I'll just wait for the chat to clean that up. Yeah. Okay, so any questions? Do you guys want to share anything? Do you guys have any comments about WiseMind? Why bother? What's the importance of it? Is it, do you guys implement this every day, or do you feel like you're one or the other? I think most of our scholars are probably more rational and in the reasonable mind, right? So trying to integrate a little bit of our emotional wisdom or emotional intellect might be helpful. It'll really enhance our understanding of experiences and situations more. Yeah. Yeah. My YouTube channel is on my AniLive profile now, but just in case, it's youtube.com/@Poette. And then the second channel that archives all the games and the things that are not related to my main content is youtube.com/@PoetteLive, where I go live for gaming, shenanigans, memes, clips, funny things, out of pocket things, out of hand things, all sorts of chaos when we go live. But today I am actually streaming this on the main channel as well as the archive channel, just so that we have that available for people. And there are a lot of intersections and crossovers with gaming and mental health. So I hope in the future I'm able to connect with those resources and those platforms that utilize mental health in communities where gaming is involved, right? I know Riot did something related to that a while ago, which was really awesome to see. They're trying to promote less toxic players and toxic responses, and who was it? Even Tyler 1 was reformed, right? So there's a lot of changes that are happening, lots of awareness building, and it's great to see. So the world is slowly, our society is slowly coming together and getting a grip on everything. It's a maintenance thing, right? It's a continuation of the skills and the practices. I think once we forego any of our integrity and dignity, that's when corruption happens, right? Once we forego our values and we are not within our wise mind, and we're too scheming, right? Too conniving, or like too in our emotions, right? We want to have revenge, or we want to like try to trick somebody, that's when corruption happens, and that's really sad. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on on that. So yeah. But yeah, that is my presentation. If you guys have any other questions, leave them in the comments section below. If they're not enabled, I will enable it soon enough. I'll go ahead and wrap up the stream for YouTube, but I will still be streaming on AniLive, an app called AniLive. It's under fire right now, but that's kind of not my concern, and I won't go over any of the weird politics surrounding that. But yeah, so thank you so much for tuning in. Will this be on the test? The test of life, maybe, right? You can apply these skills. You can apply these strategies to your life, and life is the ultimate test, right? Life is the ultimate test. It's who you want to become, you as a person, where you want to be in life, how you want to handle things, right? Do you want to be in a place of balance, or do you want to continue suffering? And there's a lot of suffering out there, right? Yeah, so thank you so much for tuning in, and let me know if you guys have any other questions. If you want me to cover certain topics, I'll do my best. I know someone suggested that I cover the topic of self-esteem, and that one's going to take a lot of research because there's so much science behind all of that, which I'm not very familiar with, but I'll do my best to eventually cover self-esteem sometime in the future. There's plenty of topics to go over and to review with you guys, but always remember that this is your life and you always want to do your best, and these are the tools and resources that I have available that I would like to share with you. If you need help getting started with anything, let me know. I'll eventually open up like a peer support session in the far, far future. That's always my hope and goal, is to provide resources for others. But it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of skill as well, which I'm currently trying to sharpen. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. I'll go ahead and wrap up for YouTube. I'll see you guys next time on YouTube. Bye!